Cool. Well, hi guys. My name is Noah. This is Cinephile Sessions, my new podcast where I talk to local filmmakers and talent on their experiences in the film community and kind of about what they like to do. So I'm here with Sarah. She is the owner, founder, director, all of the above of Arc Take Two, where we are currently. She graciously let us use this space today. This is the first time I've ever done a podcast in person. All of these have been over Zoom. So this is going to be a learning experience for me too. So I hope you find some sort of education or joy out of just a conversation. So,
what have you learned so far from this?
From doing this podcast?
Yeah.
Definitely that I need to work on my presenter skills, but no. I think that I've learned a lot about why people like to do this job, this industry, many different people in different jobs that I don't think I otherwise would have known what all is involved in like a production manager or a production designer or things like that I believe a lot of people don't really know about those positions behind the scenes that you don't, just see on screen. So to me, it's been really fun to get to know why people do what they do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell everybody about ARC and why you kind of started this place and what you offer.
Okay, so Arc Take Two is an artist resource center, and I named it Take Two because it's my second attempt. Right before the pandemic, I had Actors Resource Center, which was the original Arc, and then of course everything shut down, and so I shut it down. And
so there was an original Arc. That's why it's called Take Two. Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm always about take two. If you don't get it right the first time, try it again.
That's perfect.
So it's also a reminder to everybody, like, it's okay if you don't get it right the first time.
Yeah.
If you still want to do it, keep doing it.
Yeah. So I know that you hold multiple different events and classes here because this space is huge. You can't tell, but there's whole other rooms behind us.
It's 3,200 square feet total.
Yeah, so you kind of divide it up into different things, different spaces that people can use? Right,
yeah. So the front is like a lounge space, and we have tables as well so people can get together. They can do table reads, they can work on screenplays, they can come in with their actor buddies, work on scenes together. And then I also have a sound booth, 2 audition rooms, and then I have like dance floor space where I teach pole dance. And I also have a belly dance instructor who comes in every Tuesday as well.
Wow. And
we were doing audition practice every Thursday, but I just moved those to Monday. And it's free for members, and then it's just $10 to drop in. And then I also invite in industry professionals to teach classes. Like we've had William Mark McCullough here, James Dumont, and Caitlin Bassett, who is on NBC's Quantum Leap. She's the lead on that.
Oh, really?
When her schedule allows, she's going to come in and teach classes, and so.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're also partnered up with Veterans of Media and Entertainment. So if you're a veteran, like, you get a free membership to Arc Take Two as long as you're a veteran of VME. And VME brings in industry professionals to teach classes. So a couple of years ago, I got to teach a writing class from Brent Forrester, who wrote The Office and Love and a whole bunch of other things, especially with Judd Apatow, which is really cool. And then I'm also learning from Rebecca Murga, who is a writer on Swagger on Apple TV, Kimberly Salheimer, Jim Arnoff, he's a phenomenal guy. He's an entertainment attorney, and he also does a whole bunch of other things too. And so he's been teaching me how to talk about myself and how to talk about my business, and as an actor, as a filmmaker, all of that. So. Yeah,
isn't it so much different than you would have imagined when you first got into kind of doing things in this industry, that being the business side of it, and really knowing how to speak and market yourself, it's like a whole different skill that you have to develop.
It is, yeah. Everything about the industry is a learning curve, and you are your own business. If you're an actor, you are your own business, and so you have to have like your trajectory. So you need to have like your business plan or your career blueprint, as James Dumont teaches. You've got to have your marketing plan. You've got to have like your team. Your team is either your manager or agent. I feel like Jim Arnoff is part of my team because he's not hired as my entertainment attorney, but he is an entertainment attorney, and he's somebody I can go to for advice. Everybody at VME is incredible too, because I can go to them, asking them for advice. And then like all of my mentors and teachers like James and Mark and the people at the actors community over in London, they're all phenomenal, and they're all part of my team.
Yeah, and you mentioned the VME. So you yourself, we've talked a little bit, are a veteran, and you kind of started this after you got out, or how does that trajectory line up?
Okay, I never thought that I would ever be in the arts in any kind of way at all. I was always like more athletic, and I always wanted to go into the military. That was my childhood dream. So as soon as I turned 18, I joined the Marine Corps, and then shortly after getting into the Marine Corps, I was exposed to toxins that attacked my autonomic nervous system, and I was in and out of the hospital for years. I was in and out of a wheelchair for years. I was completely bedridden for a period of time, had surgeries, all kinds of things. And then I started going back to school, but it was very difficult for me to transition from the military back to the civilian world, especially being as sick as I was. I felt like I just couldn't relate to anybody else. And then I ended up moving to Charleston, and I actually started out modeling, like with different photographers. And then that led to, I heard about doing background for South of Hell. I went on set. As soon as I stepped on set, I fell in love, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I just started talking to other background actors. I really wanted to be a director and tell stories, but there were no directing classes around here. So I found acting classes, and I thought, well, I could be a better director if I understand the actor process. And then I fell in love with acting, and then, yeah, it just kind of snowballed. I started creating content with my actor friends, and we would just grab a camera and like really just go shoot anything. No plan. And then I started learning to plan, and so things did eventually get better. And so now I'm producing feature films, like with money and attorneys and all that stuff.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and it's just going out there having fun.
Yeah, it happens fast, and but definitely how we all got started, I feel like, is just making whatever we can with our friends. Yes. And not always the most substantial content, but it's good practice, and the more you do it, the better you get at it, and then one day you're doing it at the level you're doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
So what would you say, with that being said, do you still love to do the most with your projects? Specifically, like, is there any certain genres that then you like to get involved in, or?
Social impact. That's really what I want to get into. Like bringing stories to life that help make the world a better place in some sort of way. I also really want to bring, especially like female veterans, I want to bring their stories to the screen. Sure. There's all kinds of war movies. How many women are in the cast?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, there's one movie that's about one female Marine, and that's Megan Levy, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're not represented at all, so I definitely want to represent that and tell our stories, because a lot of people, when they think of military, they think of a guy, and they think of all the things they do, and not so much the women. Like, we're thought of as just support. I don't know. What do you think of women veterans?
It's always marketed as, super macho. They always show men lifting weights and flying helicopters, but you're right, they don't ever, even today, I feel like they release tons of commercials that I see all the time. There were all of that string of one with Jonathan Majors that they were just, showing off only men just doing macho things.
Yeah.
You're right, they don't really showcase that.
I remember G.I. Jane now, but that also fictional. But
Yeah.
but I would like to see like real women veteran stories brought to life on the screen.
Yeah.
So right now I'm writing a television series. Thanks to all the wonderful people at VME, and all my other mentors have been along the way, teaching me how to write and how to pitch and all of that.
Nice.
So yeah.
What has been your process for that, and how you're going about getting it done? When do you see yourself shooting and releasing it? What's your goal?
That's a good question. Most of writing is me just sitting, staring off into space. But like I have been writing this since 2020. I have so many different drafts and so many different scenes and things. My goal is in the next 2 years, have it much better planned out and be able to start having an actual budget and have the money to like really shoot it on a professional level, using casting directors, using film crew,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want to really, really do this. I've just got to come up with the funding.
It takes time.
It takes time, yeah.
It takes a long time.
And I'm actually learning because I'm taking a lot of business classes because of ARC. And I ask questions about, okay, well, does this apply to a feature film? Like, can I get this type of loan for a feature film and stuff? So I am learning how to fund and do that as well. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So,
With your projects and ARC kind of combined, what do you hope to see in this space, in 5 or 10 years?
That's a good question. In 5 to 10 years, I'm going to have a production company.
Yeah?
So I'm going to have a production studio at that point.
yeah.
I'll still have ARC. ARC will still be the base. But yeah, I want to see people in here creating their own content. I want to see people taking classes. I want to see people getting booked,
Yeah.
and just living their dream out.
So this is like the launching ground.
This is the launching ground, yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's a good place to start. You're very centrally located here,
At the Citadel Mall.
right at the Citadel Mall. So every day, foot traffic walking by, getting to see the space. So that's perfect.
Yeah, and the Righteous Gemstones films right out the back door.
Literally right out the back door. Yeah, their office is right across the street. So, well, super cool. I know that we recently got to meet at one of the local film events. I think that was the first time we met in person.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a pretty small community here, and so everybody knows of everybody. And I've been following your work and a fan of your work on social media for a long time now. But when I heard of this space and what you're doing, I wondered how we could kind of mutually help each other. So with the networking events that we've been doing in Charleston, recently we decided that we wanted to make it bigger and do more with it. So we're having a movie night screening of local films, showcasing talent, doing Q&A, and we're gonna hold it right here at ARC, and I think it's gonna be a great time.
Me too, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
So I love that, and I love producing. That might be my favorite part. I really like acting too, and writing. I like it all. But I really love to bring people together and to make things happen. So
Yeah.
I love doing events. I love it.
Yeah, we have that in common, and events like that are the perfect way to get to know everybody, network, grow with your community.
Get to see what other people's work is.
Exactly. That's so important.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love for us to do some other things too, like showcases of people showing their talents and things as well. Because
Yeah.
it's one thing to talk about it, but then to show people. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the potential is endless. I mean, this is just the beginning of what we're gonna be able to do here. And I can already see us holding seminars with mini master classes in different areas and having really strong professionals in the area accessible to everybody in the community to come and listen to and learn from. And I think that's what we really need in this city.
I think so too, because there's so much talent here, and I really wish that the productions were using more of our local people, you know, and it would save them money too.
It really would.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get involved. I mean, you can't talk to anybody anywhere you go without them having some sort of story about knowing somebody that's worked on a big show that they've shot here. And just the excitement and the level of involvement that people want to have with those projects is huge. So you're right, I'm surprised that there's not more of it.
Right.
Especially with how amazing this place is and how many different areas and different locations that you can shoot here. I just don't know why it's not bigger.
And I feel like the film community here, like, it's more like family, because it is so small. And I don't feel like we're really that competitive against each other either. I feel like we're more uplifting each other, and we work together pretty well.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I talk to somebody new every single day that wants to just get involved with whatever they possibly can. People want to work. People want to create and connect and just make stuff. And
And that's why I created ARC, so to give people a place to do that, so they can come together to network, to get to know each other, and have a space to actually go to. Because before, like, we were just going to each other's houses, and, you know, that can get dangerous.
Yeah,
But,
you
know.
also don't know what to expect,
Yeah.
and having a dedicated center like
Right.
this is super important.
Yeah.
So it's a good, safe space for creatives in any field, really. I like that you're also incorporating, you know, a place for people to do their audition tapes, to do headshots, things like that.
Yeah, if you're an actor, it's a one-stop shop. Like, everything is here. I mean, we have a printer, you can print your sides, you can tape your audition, you can get headshots, work on your resume, demo reel, everything.
Yeah.
Take classes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hopefully soon hold a class here, because this space, I've said it a million times, it is just ginormous. And there's just so much room to move around and do whatever you want. So.
And it's a studio, so you, like, you can move everything around.
Yeah,
And
we were
do
doing
whatever you want.
we were doing that with this. We were just moving everything around just to see what we could come up with.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about it.
It's a place for creativity and for, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything coming up that you wanted to kind of promote, talk about? I know we talked about your series you had in mind, and especially with ARC, or is there a place that people can go to kind of look at your stuff?
Right now, Instagram is the best place.
Yeah.
So at ARC Take Two, and yeah, Monday night is audition practice. Come out. You don't have to even be prepared. We'll give you sides here. We'll work on everything. Just show up. That's what I want people to do, just to show up for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, don't be nervous. Don't be shy. Be courageous.
Yeah.
And just show up for yourself.
That's super important. Yeah, that's super important. Cool. Well, I don't have any other questions for you, but I really appreciate you doing this and just taking the time to kind of talk about yourself. I feel like one question that I would like to wrap up with, actually, what keeps you going with this? Like, what do you get out of this? Like, the ability to give back would be my answer.
Yeah, I love being able to give back, but I also look towards the future, and I feel like we're all pioneers in the Charleston film industry right now.
Yeah.
And I look forward to all the projects that I know that we're going to be doing one day. Like,
Yeah.
all the people we're going to be working with, and yeah, daydreaming about the future. Like, I'm constantly daydreaming about the future.
Yeah.
So.
Me too. I can't imagine what it's going to look like in 5 to 10 years, and just how big, like, I know that I want it to grow.
Yes, and we're making it grow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just by doing this, I would urge anybody listening to do the exact same thing. Just keep having those conversations, keep talking to people, seeing how you can get other people involved. It's so, so important. If you're not in a city that's considered a local or central hub for filmmaking, you know, the big spots like LA, New York, Atlanta, if you're not in one of those, you're automatically considered kind of a smaller community. And I think those communities are where people really learn the most and want to be involved the most. So as long as you're having those conversations, that's really all you can do.
Yeah. And I would say, you know, talk to people, network with people, build your community, because there's a lot of people all around you who want to get into this, but maybe have no direction, no idea how to do it, but you can bring them together.
Yeah.
And, you know, start building it, making it more.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everybody, please, please, please come out August 11th to ARC Take 2. It's a Friday night. We're launching right at 7. We got a ton of really, really good local short films that we're screening. And you'll get to hear from some people about their experiences making the projects, how they got involved in film, what they like to do. If you liked listening to this conversation, you're gonna love that even more. So please come out.